Hello friends, here we will see the banking regulation and business law. Okay, that is a BRBL, control over organization of the bank. So basically we will see how RBI control the banking industry. Let's see some introduction part. The Banking Regulation Act BR Act 1949 defined the regulation for the management of the banking company. The act issues license to ensure that only the bank with a strong foundation and having sound operation will continue in the banking industry. It also stipulates norm for the paid up capital and reserve, appointment of the bank personnel, constitution of the board of director, and formation of the subsidiary. So what we learn basically from the introduction is simply that we are having one key tool called as the Banking Regulation Act 1949. Okay, so we are having the BR Act 1949, which is mainly the key tool to regulate the bank in India. So the RBI regulate the banking industry using the Banking Regulation Act. So name itself, it is a banking regulation. So R is for regulation. Okay, so purpose itself of the act is to regulate the banking industry, right? And what that provision is there, a lot of provisions are there, since starting from the licensing, how we can issue the license, who will get the license, till the winding up of the banks. Okay, so all things are covered in the Banking Regulation Act. What should be the paid up capital, right? How the share can be transferred, right? Who can purchase the share in the bulk, in the more than the specified quantity. What is the procedure the bank has to follow while appointing the key person like MD and CEO of the bank, chairman of the bank, right? So these are all provisions are in the Banking Regulation Act. Okay, now see, licensing of the bank. Start with the first, how to get the license of the bank in India. So obviously, as per section 22, to enter in the banking business in India, a company should get the license from the RBI. So where you have to apply for the license, you have to apply to the RBI directly, and as per section 22 of the BR Act, RBI can issue the license. Here is one small thing you should note, that there was one case, that is Shiva Bhai versus RBI in Ahmedabad, right? So in that case, the court can question the RBI's decision regarding the license only if the decision is perverse. That means what? So when the court will come into picture, see, anybody has applied for the license in the RBI and RBI rejected the banking license and they approached the civil court, right? So in that case, court will only interfere in the business in the RBI has rejected the license. So court can only interfere provided that RBI's decision is perverse. Means what? RBI has deliberately or willfully rejected the license. If the court thinks, then only court will interfere. Otherwise, court will say RBI is the whole and sole authority for the license for giving the license in India. Okay. Now, a company must satisfy RBI that it has improved all the defect reported by RBI as per section 35, and if anybody's license has got rejected, and they can improve themselves, right? Whatever RBI has done commit while rejecting the license, they can improve as per section 35 and reapply for the license. Now, what is the procedure for the Indian banks for getting the license? So before granting a license to the Indian bank means simply the entity which are operating in India, right? So if they want license, the RBI may inspect the book to determine the following. So RBI will check their book of accounts, right? For example, RBI will check whether the company is able to pay its depositor and it does not harm the depositor's interest. RBI will check the health of the capital structure, earning prospectus, and the minimum capital and the reserve of the company. If it is not satisfied, RBI can specify the higher requirement under section 22. The grant of license does not harm the public interest or the operation of the consolidation of a banking system, therefore monetary stability and the economic growth. So what basically RBI looks while giving the license? Very simple. You should have the ability to pay the money back to its depositor. You should not harm the depositor's interest, and it should not harm the public interest. You should not have any harm to the banking system, monetary stability, or the economic growth. And they should have enough capital and reserve, right? And they have enough earning source to run the bank. This is all the RBI checks while giving license to the Indian banks or the entity operating in India. Now, what is the procedure for opening the bank in India by the foreign banks? For example, Bank of America want to open the branch in Mumbai. What is the procedure? So the foreign bank or even they want to set up the wholly owned subsidiary in India, what is the procedure? So simply the foreign banking company must satisfy the following three conditions in addition to one with the Indian banks. What they have to follow? The company's banking business in India will be in the public interest, government or the law of the country under which the company is incorporated will not be in any way discriminate against the banking company registered in India. Means what? See, whatever the law of the bank, say Bank of America in the USA, that is America, they should follow first where they have been incorporated. Means what? They have to follow the law of America first. And if their law in the America constitution they are not permitting open a branch in the other country, then the RBI will say you cannot open the branch. First you have to follow the law of land. Okay, the company will comply with the provision of the Banking Regulation Act. Whether you are having from any country, once you came to India for opening up the branch, they have to follow the Banking Regulation Act of India. Okay, BR 1949. Now see, licensing of universal bank in India, right? What is the universal banking? See, universal banking means the banking where you will get all facility. For example, you are having wholesale banking, you are having retail banking, you are having international banking, forex you are having. So you are having almost all services and the facility. That is what it is called as the universal banking, right? Very simple. Now, what is the on-tap licensing policy? On-tap licensing policy is being adopted by the Reserve Bank to give the license for the banking in the banking industry. Okay, so on-tap means RBI is available always. RBI is ready to give license always if you follow all norms and terms and condition of the RBI. Got it? So it is not like that you should apply only in the month of March, you cannot apply in the month of July. No, it is available 365 days to apply for the license. It is simply, this is called as the on-tap licensing policy. You tap, you fulfill the criteria, you will get the license in simple way. Okay, now what is the eligible promoters? So simply see, the individual professional who are resident and having 10 years of experience in the banking and finance at a senior level, they can be the promoter in the bank. Okay, entity or the group in the private sector that are owned and controlled by the resident and having successful track record for at least 10 years and having total asset of 50 billion. 50 billion means say 5,000 crore or more, they can be the promoter. The existing NBFC controlled by the resident and having successfully track record for at least 10 years. Okay, so what two things you notice here? Simply the record for the 10 year is mandatory, and if there is an individual professional, they must be the resident of the India, right? And if we talk about the any group, they want to be promoter in the bank, right? For example, if I say Mahindra Group is a promoter in Mahindra Bank. Okay, so what I say that a group must have the total asset of 50 billion, that is what 5,000 crore. Okay, so these are very basic and easy to remember terms and condition, and anybody who want to be a promoter in the bank, they should have at least 10 years of experience at a senior level in the banking and finance. Okay, so these are the eligibility for to become a promoter in the bank. Okay, first you should have a lot of money, that is what, then only you can be a promoter. Okay, now fit and proper criteria. So RBI always asks for the fit and proper. What is the fit and proper? So simply the promoter or the promoting entity or the group they should have the past record of sound financial, sound credentials, integrity, and have at least 10 years of successful track record. So again the same thing, 10 years of track record, that is what the fit and proper criteria RBI says. And about the corporate structure, the non-operative financial holding company NOFHC is not mandatory for individual promoters. Promoter or the promoter group will be determined to set up the new bank only through the NOFHC, and they should own the 51% in its paid up capital. So what is that basically NOFHC? It is the non-operative financial holding company. It is a type of NBFC. Okay, so see, if you are having the NBFC, if you are having NBFC which is in the category of NOFHC, and if you want to be a promoter, right, you want to be a promoter in the bank, then you should have the 51% of its ownership. That is what, the 51% of its paid up capital should be your ownership, right? Now Initial minimum capital requirement. So what is initial capital requirement to have the bank? Simply the requirement of the 5 billion, that is what, the 500 crore, and minimum net worth should be 5 billion at all the time. So if you have to open the bank, you should have the 500 crore as the minimum net worth, and promoters to hold a minimum 40% of the paid up capital for the first 5 years, and then they have to bring it down to 15% within the next 15 years, right? So if any bank you are going to open, maximum 40% you can have the ownership. See, paid up capital here, simply understand the meaning of ownership, right? That is what up to 5 years you can hold, and the RBI is directing that within next 15 year you have to bring it you have to bring your share down to 15%, right, in next 5 year, right? For see, 40% you can hold for first 5 years since establishment, right? But within 15 year you should down your percentage to 15%. So it is very easy. For 5 years you can have that leverage, you can maintain the 40%, but within next 15 years you have to bring it down to 15%. Okay, very easy to remember, 15. Okay, now this is all about the initial minimum capital. Now foreign shareholding. See, the aggregate foreign investment to be maximum 74%. So how much the foreign entity can hold in the Indian banks? Okay, so the ceiling is 74%. What is that? Basically we can say the FDI. In simple terms you can say FDI, right? So maximum foreign investment can be have ceiling up to 74%. Now to be listed within 6 years, so any company who is registered, right, they should have to be listed in the stock market for within 6 years from the establishment. 20% of the branches should be open in the unbanked rural area. This is the criteria of the RBI. If you want to open 4 branches in the financial year, out of that 4, 1 must be to the unbanked rural center, URC. So in unbanked area you have to open 1, rest 3 you can open anywhere. Okay, this is what simple guideline by the RBI. That is what 25%. Now board have to have majority of the independent director. There should be the majority of the independent director. The procedure for application is what? The application window shall remain on tap. Means what? Application received to be submitted to the standing external advisory committee. Okay, so on tap meaning I have already told you, you can easily get the license once you fulfill all the criteria. It is available on tap. Application received by the RBI that will submitted to the standing external advisory committee, SEAC, and validity of in principle sanction will be given up to 18 months. So in the beginning they will give in principle sanction, IP sanction, for 18 months for the banking license, and if the your license got rejected, you can do the appeal within 1 month. Okay, this is all some basic point which are important for exam point of view also. Okay, now what is the procedure to get the license for the small finance bank, SFB? It is also important to have the SFB is small finance bank, right? So for what is the procedure for the for RBI? So for a small finance bank there is on tap licensing policy is also available there. So what is the procedure? Simply see, for registration the small finance bank shall be registered as a public limited company under the 2013 Companies Act, right? Next, the licensing they will obviously get as per the Banking Regulation Act. What is the objective of the small finance bank? There should be more financial inclusion, right? Who can be the promoter? Again the same criteria we are having. Indian citizen having 10 years of experience in the banking and finance, or even in the company society owned by the resident, right? Owned by the resident, or the NBFC, then MFI, microfinance institution, or the local area bank which are running the business for the 5 year, or in the PUCB, that is what, primary urban cooperative banks. So basically what is the criteria? Again simply very basic, 10 years of sound experience is required, right? And if you are having the company or society which is owned by resident, then in such cases 5 years is allowed. Okay, but if you have not owned any NBFC, MFI, or the bank, in such cases the citizen must have 10 years of experience. Okay, so simply in a broader way you can remember the eligibility for the promoter is 10 years of experience, and it must be the resident of India. Okay, Now there must be the fit and proper criteria that should have followed. Corporate structure is what? NOFHC, not mandatorily for the individual. Okay, so this is what the corporate structure. Then minimum paid up capital. So what is the capital required? So you have to bring at least 200 crores initially to open the small finance bank. Okay, so minimum paid up capital is 200 crores for the small finance bank. It is important to note, it is a 200 crore. And for the universal banks, that is what the private bank, it is 500 crores. Okay, that two things also you have to remember. Now let's move to the next, promoters contribution. So how much promoter can do the contribution? Again, simply the same thing. 40% of the ownership of the contribution will be locked for 5 years. After that, you have to bring it down. Okay, you have to bring it down. You can have 40% for 5 years, which is locked. But if you are having more than 40%, right, you have to bring it down to 40% within next 5 years, and that you have to reduce to 30% within 10 years. Further 15% within 15 years of the commencement of the business. So very simple. The criteria is very simple. Again, you have to at least lock your ownership 40% for a 5 year, which is same as the universal banking private bank. Again, you should have the 15%. You should bring it to 15% within 15 years. Again, it is same with the universal bank. The only thing is that they have again stated, if you are having more than 40%, then within first 5 years itself you have to bring it to 40%, and within next 10 year, within the 10 year, again bring it to 30%, and the last, that is very simple, within 15 years you have to bring it to 15%. Okay, so it is very simple, right? So 40% is locked for the 5 year. Within 15 per year you have to bring it to the 15%. Again, if you are having more than 40, then within 5 years you should bring it to 40%, right? And in next 10 years you should bring it to 30%. Very simple. Now, on reaching of 500 crore of the net worth, listing is mandatory within the 3 years. So once you have the 500 crore as a net worth for the small finance bank, you should be listed. That is mandatory, and that should be within 3 years of the reaching the 500 crore as a net worth. Then voting rights are capped at a 26%. The transfer and acquisition of share, if it is more than 5%, you have to inform the RBI, and if it is more than 10%, you have to get a permission from the RBI. Okay, so these are the transfer and acquisition of share. Prudential norm, 75% of the A and BC for the priority sector. That is what the guideline for the priority sector. So whatever you are giving loan, out of that they adjusted a net bank credit, that out of that the 75% should go to the priority sector. This is the main purpose of the small finance bank. 25% branch should be in unbanked area, that is what 1/4 that we have already discussed. 50% of the loan portfolio should consist of a loan and advances up to 25 lakh only. So whatever loan you are giving, right, out of that 50% should be less than amount of 25 lakh. The small finance bank can act as the the small finance bank cannot act as the banking correspondent to another bank. Okay, they are not allowed to act as a banking correspondent. So this is all about the small finance bank. Now see some interesting question. The Indian banking company apply for license to the RBI. Although the company meet the minimum capital and reserve requirement, RBI reject its application, and RBI states a specific amount for a higher capital requirement for the banking company. The company does not hold this to be the valid ground for the rejection. Is the company's argument valid? So see, what is the thing is very simple. RBI rejected the application and company thinks that it is not valid to reject my application. So what is the correct you think? That yes, the banking company has met the minimum capital requirement as per the BR Act, or no, the RBI can specify the higher amount of capital. So what is the correct option? Friends, see, here option is that RBI is correct. RBI can specify the higher capital requirement for the company, right? So option B is the correct. So before granting license to the banking company, RBI may inspect its book to check the health of the capital and the minimum capital and the reserve. If not satisfied by the RBI can say higher capital requirement under section 22 of the Banking Regulation Act. Now see another interesting question. A foreign bank incorporated in the New York applied for the license. Applied to the RBI for license to start the banking business in India. RBI find out that the law of the New York bank do not allow to be incorporated in India and to operate there. So will the foreign bank get license to operate in India? Yes or no? So correct option is again no, because if one of the condition for granting license for the foreign banking company is that the government or the law of the country in which the banking company is already incorporated should not discriminate against the banking company registered in India. Therefore, the foreign bank is not will be entitled to get license in India. Okay, so very simple. They have to follow their own land's law first, right? Now see the cancellation of the license. So as per subsection 4 of section 22. So section 22 subsection 4 of the Banking Regulation Act, RBI can cancel the license. Okay, so see, you will get license as per section 22, but subsection 4 says cancellation of license also there. Okay, remember the section. Now when RBI can do the cancellation of license? If the company ceases banking operation in India, right? They stop the banking basically. Second, they violate the conditions specified in subsection 1 or 3A of section 22. So under section 22 there are subsection called as the 1 and 3A. Okay, if they are violating out of that, then their license gets cancelled. Okay, so it is important to note that as per subsection 4 of 22 of the Banking Regulation Act, RBI can cancel the license provided the banking company ceases its banking operation or they violate the subsection 1 3A of the section 22. Now see some cancellation fact. So before cancellation, the bank can get the opportunity to take necessary step to meet the specified condition, right? Obviously bank will opportunity, RBI will say you follow the rules, otherwise we will cancel your license. So bank will get the opportunity. RBI may deny the opportunity if it feels that the delay in cancellation will harm the public or the depositor's interest. In such a case, RBI can deny the opportunity. So what happen after cancellation? It is important. So the banking company can appeal to the central government within 30 days from the date of RBI's order. So it is important to note that within 30 days, if any bank, for example, say HDFC Bank, the RBI has cancelled the license of HDFC Bank. HDFC Bank can approach to the central government within 30 days of order of cancellation. Okay, it is important to note about the period 30 days. Now see, can Indian or the foreign bank open a branch? So basically opening or relocating of the branch, what is the condition for that? Sure, the bank can open a new branch or even relocate the existing one with the RBI's permission, right? For what is a branch? Branch is simply any sub office, a pay office or sub pay office where or any place where the deposits are received, the money is being lent or the checks are encashed. So what is a branch? Where money are received or money is lent. Money are received, money is lent or checks are encashed, that place is called as the branch. Okay, so whether we can open the branch? Obviously we can open the branch, we can relocate the branch as per the condition of RBI. Now see, what are the aspect of RBI that look at while giving permission, right? So what RBI check basically? So RBI checks that the bank's history and the finances are strong, the character of the bank's management is also good, the bank's earning prospects and the capital structure should be adequate, and the bank's business should be in the public interest. That fact RBI check before giving the license. Okay, now will bank have to apply a permission for every branch that it open? Right, this is very basic concept, basic question in your mind. So application for the multiple branches. So yes, but the bank can apply for the permission of all the branches that it intend to open in year together instead of applying permission for each branch separately. For example, in the financial year 24-25, if you have to open 100 branches, then you can apply directly to the RBI that I have to open 100 branches in that year. Okay, so RBI can grant permission for each branch. You did not need to apply for a permission. Okay, now what if the bank want to shift its location within the same city? So see, the bank does not need a license to shift its location within the same city. See, once you got permission, then if you want to shift it within the same city, you don't have to approach RBI. So it also does not need a license to open a temporary place of business to offer a banking facility for any conference, exhibition or seminar up to 1 month. That means if you have to do some seminar, exhibition or conference up to period of 30 days or up to period of 1 month, you don't have to get license from RBI. Okay, so this is called as the temporary. So the temporary branch should also be located within the limit of the city, town or village of the existing branch. That means you should do the temporary exhibition only in the nearby your existing branch. Okay, so simply if you have to do some conference, some mela, right, if you have to put some stall about your bank and that is up to 1 month, then you don't need a license. Okay, simply 1 month is required. 1 month is, you have to remember, as a period important for exam point. Now, can RBI revoke its permission? So revoking of the permission. So obviously RBI may sometime impose some condition while granting the permission. If these conditions are not complied with, RBI may revoke the permission. Okay, but it does not give the bank an opportunity. But it does give the bank opportunity to show cause before revoking the permission. So obviously RBI always will be helpful. They will first ask you do things, otherwise we will cancel your permission. Okay, we will revoke your permission. Should the regional rural bank, that is what the RRB, apply to the RBI for getting the license? So the RBI for opening up the branch. So the no, the answer is no, very big no. So RRB must apply to the NABARD, that is National Bank for Agriculture and Rural. Okay, so the RRB first have to apply to the NABARD. Based on the merit of the application, NABARD will send its comment to the RBI regarding the getting opening branches. Okay, getting opening branches. So if RRB has to open the branch, right, they are the even for the or any offices, they have to first approach to the NABARD. Okay, then NABARD will follow their recommendation to RBI for final sanction. Okay, so there is intermediary. See, ultimately license will be sanctioned by the RBI, but NABARD is the intermediary with respect to the RRB. Okay, now see some basic question. See, it is interesting question. So the Mumbai branch of the Bank of America want to open a stall to offer the construction loan to the builder at the Builders Expo in the Bandra. So Bandra is the part of Mumbai. So there in Mumbai there is one bank of America. They want to do the stall in the Bandra. Does it need a license to do this? So answer is no, right? So bank does not need a license to open a temporary place of business to offer the banking facility at any exhibition or a similar event up to 1 month. So if you are doing temporary place, if you are making the temporary place of business up to 1 month, no need of permission from RBI is required. The temporary branch should also be located within the limit of the city, town or the village of the existing branch. Okay, that we have already discussed. Now see the paid up capital and the reserve. So see, section 11 of the Banking Regulation Act stipulates about the minimum paid up capital. Okay, so for foreign bank, what is the requirement? So it is important for exam point of view. So foreign bank operating in India must deposit the following with RBI. They have to put their money. See, they have to deposit with RBI. What? By default, they have to put 15 lakhs in the first. Okay, so the foreign bank have to deposit with RBI 15 lakh rupees. They have to deposit 20 lakh if what? If they are doing the business in Mumbai, Kolkata or both. Okay, either in Mumbai, either in Kolkata or in both. They have to deposit additional 5 lakh. That's why it is 20 lakh for them. The amount can be in the form of cash or in the form of approved security or in the form of both. Now, apart from that, 20% of each year profit, they have to book 20% of their each year's profit as per their profit and loss account earned through its Indian branches. They have to deposit with RBI. Okay, so very simple. First, any foreign bank they want to open in India, they should deposit 15 lakh with RBI. Apart from that, if they want to do the business in Mumbai, Kolkata or any or both, they have to deposit additional 5 lakh. So 20 lakh rupees they have to deposit. Apart from that, 20% of their profit they are earning through the branches in India, they have to deposit with the RBI. Okay, so that 3 criteria you have to remember exam point of view. Now, what is the criteria for Indian bank? So for Indian bank, lot of provision is there. Okay, so see, for Indian banking company, paid up capital and reserve shall not be less than. So what should be the reserve? Simply, so for Indian banks, we should have the 5 lakh for a banking company which starting the business after commencement of the act. So simply, what is the plain criteria? Plain, simply 5 lakh rupees you have to remember anyhow, because 5 lakh rupees you have to maintain the reserve with the RBI if you want to open a bank in India, okay, by the Indian entity. So remember the 5 lakh figure. Apart from that, you have to do the 50,000 rupees as a deposit if you are doing the business only, if you are having only one place of business, means only one branch you are having, then only deposit 50,000, it is okay. Okay, you have to deposit 5 lakh if you are having business in more than one state. You are operating in one state, for example Maharashtra, plus you are operating in Kerala. In such cases you should deposit 5 lakh. If you are operating more than one state and your branch include Mumbai or Kolkata, that means you are operating in say Tamil Nadu also, Kerala also, and you have one branch, if you are operating in Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra, and you are having the branch in Maharashtra, Mumbai, in such a cases you are having more than one state and with Mumbai and Kolkata, then you have to deposit 10 lakh. Okay, so remember, it is important to note that 5 lakh is important. Concept of 5 lakh is important. 5 lakh is must. But you are having only one place of business, do the 50,000. If you are operating more than one state, do the 5 lakh. If you are operating more than one state with Mumbai and Kolkata, you have to be deposit 10 lakh. Okay. Now, if the places of the business in only one state and you don't have the branches in Mumbai and Kolkata, right? In such a cases, the amount of the sum should not be exceeding the 5 lakh. See, this is the what condition here. 5 lakh rupees. What? When you are operating in more than one state. And if you are operating only in one state, then also amount is 5 lakh if you are not operating in Mumbai and Kolkata. Okay, so these things you have to understand deeply, because you may create some confusion in your mind. Okay, so simply remember 5 lakh is the base figure. 50,000 only if you are having only one branch. Then if you are having more than one states, then 5 lakh again the same. Right, if you are operating in a more than one place and you are having Mumbai and Kolkata, then you have to you have to be with a 10 lakh. Now, if you are having only one state and don't have Mumbai or Kolkata, right? Apart from that, amount should be the sum of the following, and maximum is 5 lakh. Okay, so if you are operating in only 1 lakh, if only one state, but you don't have the Mumbai and Kolkata, in such cases limit is 5 lakh. Provided that 1 lakh for the principal place of business, 10,000 for other places of business located in the same district, and 20,000 for each places of the business elsewhere. Means what? Simply, you are having the branch in say Kerala. Okay, so in Thiruvananthapuram is your head office or main branch of your bank. So for that main branch you have to deposit the 1 lakh, right? And 10,000 for other places located in the same district. So in again in Thiruvananthapuram we are having two more branches, right? So for that two branches into 10,000 you have to deposit 2 into 10,000, so total 20,000, and 20,000 for each place of the business elsewhere. Apart from that, you are having the branch in say nearby district, say Ernakulam, and that you are having again 3 branches. So for that 3 into 10 into 20,000, right? So this is what the guideline of RBI. Okay, so that things you have to remember for exam point of view. Now see, through example you will get again the better idea. See, again one important criteria is there. If the place of business is only in one state, or more of them are in Mumbai and Kolkata, that means you are having business in only one state, right? And they are having branches in one or more of them in Mumbai and Kolkata, right? In such cases, you have to bring the 5 lakh. Apart from that, plus 25,000 you have to bring for each place of business, right? Which is outside the Mumbai and Kolkata. Limit is again, aggregate limit is 10 lakh rupees. Okay, and if you are having the what is the minimum paid up capital for opening a new commercial bank is 500 crores, which we have already discussed. For small finance bank it is 200 crores, and for a payment bank it is 100 crores. Okay, that 3 figures also you have to remember. Now see, important thing, the capital requirement what the Banking Regulation Act stipulates. The banking company's paid up capital should not be less than 50% of its subscribed capital, and subscribed capital should be minimum 50% of its authorized capital. So basically, what is a paid up capital? what is the authorized capital, and what is the subscribed capital. So basically, see, it is very simple term. Paid up means how much money you have got, right? Authorized means how much you are authorized to get the shares, how much you are authorized. For example, you are authorized to raise the 500 crores. That is what authorized capital. Subscribed capital means out of that how much people have subscribed it. Like for example, IPO, you subscribe it, like very simple terms. So the ratio. So see, the banking company's paid up capital. So paid up capital should not be less than 50% of the subscribed capital, right? And the subscribed capital should not be 50% of its authorized capital. Very simple. So we can say the ratio between authorized capital, subscribed capital, and the paid up capital should be 4:2:1. Means what? If you have authorized capital, that should 1000. Subscribed capital, that can be the 500, and paid up capital can be the 250. So in that way, you can easily remember. So 4:2:1, there must be the ratio between authorized, subscribed, and paid up, right? So authorized means how much you can ready to get, how much you are allowed, authorized to get money. Subscribe means how much people have been subscribed, and paid up means how much actually they have been paid to the subscribers. Okay, authorized, subscribed, paid. Okay, so very easy to remember. The capital of the banking company will consist of the equity share or the equity share plus preference share only. Okay, so what capital in the form of you should have? You can have only equity share or the preference, equity plus preference. Now the preference shareholder will not be entitled to the voting right specified in the Companies Act. Okay, this is what the basic provision. Now subsidiaries of a banking company. So the banking company can form the subsidiary subject to the restriction under section 19 of the BR Act. The subsidiary cannot carry on trading activity by acquiring the controlling interest in the non-banking company. So if you have any subsidiary, that cannot be the part of a trading activity, right? They cannot do the trading. Bank subsidiary cannot do the trading. Very simple. If see, very simple. Bank have a lot of money. They can open subsidiary and they can do trading and they can earn a lot of money. So to avoid that, because it is in public interest, so subsidiary undertake the business will not amount to the bank itself directly, indirectly adopting that business. So obviously, whatever the business the subsidiary is doing, that will not be the part of bank, right? It is the part of subsidiary's business. Now, what are the business for which the bank can form the subsidiary? Okay, so how the bank can do the subsidiary? So obviously, what are the business which are permissible? So simply, bank can form the subsidiary only to undertake the business permissible in section 6(1) of the Banking Regulation Act, from clause A to clause O. Okay, section 6(1), which are the giving list for the permissible business by the subsidiaries. Carry on banking business outside India. So the subsidiary can do the business outside the India. The subsidiary can undertake the business in public interest, and that subsidiary will spread the banking in India, and other permitted business by RBI can be done by the subsidiary of the bank. Can a banking company hold the share in the company? So holding of share. See, the banking company can hold share in the company other than subsidiary, but there is ceiling. Means what? See, banks have a lot of money. They can buy anything, lot of money, but there is some ceiling, right? If the banking company is a pledged, mortgaged, or absolute owner of the company, then its shareholding should not exceed its paid up capital or the paid up share capital and the reserve, or 30% of the paid up share capital of the company, right? So obviously subsidiaries are exempted from this provision. That means if the SBI is there and SBI is having subsidiary, for example, say SBI card. Okay, so SBI card can do can purchase any company, because the subsidiary can do, but the bank itself, SBI, cannot do, right? So that's why there is a ceiling of 30% of the paid up capital for the SBI or the main bank. Okay, very simple. Remember, the shareholding should not exceed its paid up capital and reserve, or 30% of the paid up share capital of the company. Okay, so if you have to invest in any company, ceiling is 30%. And for subsidiary, this ceiling is not there. Now see, through example again, the Infinite Bank incorporated in India operate only in the state of Bihar. Okay, there is one bank which operating only in Bihar. The bank has its head office and 8 branches in the Chhapra district of the Bihar. It also has 20 branches in the other district of the Bihar. What is the minimum amount of a paid up capital and the reserve required for the Infinite Bank? So see, such type of question can be there. So see in what criteria it is fitting. See, so correct answer, you can apply the common sense. You can apply common sense from the just observing the options 4 lakh, 4.8 lakh, 5 lakh, 5.8 lakh. So see, you can apply common sense that what is maximum ceiling for the capital in general, it is 5 lakh, right? So answer can be the 5 lakh. That 90% chances you can apply, but you have to calculate by using the formula, by using the guidelines. See, the bank's business, it is not in Mumbai or not even in Kolkata, right? So minimum capital requirement will be as follow. See, what is the principal place of business? Their principal place of business is Chapra district. So for principal place of business, we have to invest 1 lakh rupees. We have to put 1 lakh, right? Again, they are having 8 branches in same district. So for a same district, you have to bring 10,000 per branch. So it will be 80,000. They are having 20 branches in the state, right? So for each branch, they have to bring 20,000. So 20,000 into 20. So 4 lakh they have to bring. So that 4 lakh plus 1 lakh plus 80,000 will be 5 lakh 80,000. That is what 5.8 lakh. So as per the BR Act, the maximum amount is ceiling is 5 lakh, right? So they have to bring only 5 lakh, not 5.8. Okay, so 5 lakh will be the answer. So in that way, you can expect some numerical questions also. Okay, so friends, here we will stop. You can subscribe us on the YouTube Banker Zone. You can join our Telegram group also, where we do the conduct discussions on the CIB Banker Zone CIB. You can directly search on the Telegram for the group. And also you have to download the application from the Play Store, Bankers Zone CIB. Thank you friends.